for the record.
We thought we were talking a little bit about the situation in Long Island, but Mike, why don't you give us the rundown of exactly what's happening right now, the latest word?
A revelation came out yesterday. I believe it was Elliot Friedman from Sportsnet who came out with the fact that Travis Hamonic, very good defenseman with the New York Islanders, who has 4 years left on his contract after this year, making less than $4 million, which is a very economical deal, and he's a top 4 defenseman. Not exactly a great offensive guy, but good enough offensively.
He's a good number 3.
A solid stay-at-home defenseman at a good price. For family concerns, has requested a trade. Now, he requested it in the summer. This was not something that he just dropped on Garth Snow the last couple days. So there's been some lead up to this, and obviously it hasn't happened, and it got out. So we don't know who did. I mean, there's some speculation that maybe Hamonic's agent released this. We don't know how it got out, but it
wasn't Garth. I'll tell you that, it wasn't Garth. He's like Belichick with information.
Yeah, and Lou. The end result here is, I think it getting out doesn't grease the wheels of the deal happening, because we know now that the window of where he wants to go, this is Western Canada. The 4 teams: Vancouver, Winnipeg, Calgary, Edmonton. I don't think Vancouver makes a lot of sense because that's pretty far.
It's not. Vancouver's not an option. It's not good. I think Edmonton, Calgary, Winnipeg, and Minnesota make the most sense, although I don't see Minnesota wanting them from what I was told. One person I talked to said St. Louis might be interested, and they're only a 2-hour plane ride away.
But Minnesota wasn't mentioned in the original report.
Correct.
Vancouver was, which, but apparently, this is not, any kind of negotiating tactic. This is not, I want a contract extension. This is
no,
not.
He signed a 7-year deal.
Personal.
This is not. I hate Brooklyn. This is
not against Brooklyn, and that, although all that stuff that people have been saying about that is absolutely ludicrous.
Yep.
Yeah, this is he needs to go back. He needs to be closer to his family in Manitoba. There's a family farm apparently. I mean, I don't know all the details of that, but he needs to be closer to his family. But the position that the Islanders are in right now, a lot of teams out there need top 4 defensemen. A lot of teams would pay through the nose for a top 4 defenseman. But when you limit the range of where you're willing to go, then these teams can hold you up. And Edmonton, Winnipeg especially, I think would probably like to get a Travis Hamonic. But it's a question, and we'll talk about this going forward here. What kind of deals could be expected that Garth could make with those teams? But when you have a limited window, those teams are going to play hardball. They're going to say, well, we're not going to give you everything you want, and that's not conducive to a deal being made.
Well, that's for sure. Well, let's talk a little bit more about that. There's a couple actual other things about that. But let's go here. Hello, Hockey World. It's Thursday, November 19th, 2015.
I'm Michael Agello.
I'm Dan Petru.
I'm Russ Cohen from Sportsology.
And I am Eklund, and you're watching the HockeyBuzz Cast on HockeyBuzz.com. This is the podcast that comes to you every Monday through Friday around this time, around 1 p.m. Eastern Time. We like to do it. Sometimes it's later, sometimes it's earlier, sometimes, it's the podcast, for crying out loud. You get what you pay for. But let's
Ak, you nail the open when you just do it. When there's no thought, when you just go. When you just flow, it's perfect.
I know. I think I got to do that from now on.
I think so. Just cut us off and start. I love it.
That's what I got to do, yeah.
You get the date right and everything.
I know. It's pretty crazy, isn't it? I know, so I'm better thinking of but I don't think about it. So here we go. We've been talking about a crazy situation going on the island, and it brings a lot of. I mean, obviously Winnipeg is a great fit because Winnipeg needs a defenseman in the worst possible way. You do feel bad. There's obviously something going on here with this guy's family. It doesn't help the Islanders. I don't know. But then again, let's go back to Marty St. Louis gave them one team.
Right.
And look what they got.
Right.
Look what Tampa got when they had one team.
Well, that Marty St. Louis trade helped the Islanders too because the 2 Ranger draft picks turned into Islander draft picks.
Right.
Ho-Sang and Boublier.
It is possible to get good value, even when a player demands a trade.
Right.
Well, I don't think. I feel bad for the guy. I feel bad for the Islanders, but I do think that there's a way of making this benefit everybody in the long run.
Sure, but the question is there a willingness on the part of Winnipeg or Edmonton or Calgary to make it a beneficial deal for both sides? If there is, then I think a deal can get done pretty quickly. But the problem is, I don't know, like I said, we can talk about this. I don't know whether Edmonton is willing to give up the type of player that I would expect if I were Garth Snow or Travis Hamonic. If I'm Garth Snow, I want Jordan Eberle.
Right, and that's probably Edmonton's been very reluctant to trade Eberle, and that's the guy who everybody would expect the Islanders would want and should get in return. But Edmonton, I have a feeling, won't deal with the Islanders if it's Eberle. And they won't deal Yakupov. I don't think they're dealing any of these guys, even though we all know that they should, to further along their defense. It seems like they are dead set against it. But the other thing here is, and what we forget about is, like with the human part of this situation is, the agent or somebody got the information out there, right? And so it's obviously getting to the point where it's a little bit dire for him, and everybody wants to do the right thing. Yeah, it's a business, so you never get the full right thing. But at the end of the day, at the end of the season, he could walk away too. I mean, there is that possibility.
Well, I talked to some people within the Islander organization last night, and as much as a couple hours ago, and they were taken I can just say that the players were taken by surprise by this. Not everyone knew. They're completely supporting him. They completely understand. There's absolutely there's no division in the locker room. With that being said, I also talked to some people out in Western Canada, and the Oilers seem like if the Oilers would make a decision, they seem like good trade partners.
Yeah.
What someone told me was, the same thing that Russ just said: reluctancy to break up that core. Travis Hamonic can help them win games long term. Now, the intriguing part about Winnipeg is Travis Hamonic can help them make the playoffs this year.
Right.
He is definitely someone that can help them win games and something that they need. So
yeah, they do, and they're sort of they're in a very weird season. We've had our what's his name? Peter, sorry, Peter on a couple times now, and Peter from Winnipeg has been on and talked about the weird spot the Winnipeg Jets are in this year, where they have sort of accepted a rebuild despite the fact they made the playoffs last year, and they're in the middle of the rebuild still.
Yeah,
so,
and they've gone through a 6-game losing streak that ended yesterday. But I mean, if you look at Winnipeg, obviously the first name that comes up, and we talked about him all year, has been Byfuglien. But the thing is, trying to construct a Byfuglien deal around Hamonic, I mean, you're talking about a guy who likely is gone at the end of the year, no matter where he gets traded, because he's going to test the market. He's going to try to max out in terms of money. So that kind of deal doesn't. Yeah,
well, here's the thing. Because the Islanders have
did it with Vanek and it worked out poorly.
Here's what you could get creative here. Would Hamonic and Oposo go to Winnipeg for Byfuglien and one of their younger players who's under contract still?
I think if that were on the table, and Winnipeg wanted to do it, it'd be done already. I don't think Winnipeg wants to do it. I don't.
Right.
I think the Islanders would have to go for something like Nick Petan and Paul Postma, something like that. I think that's what they would have to settle with because I
don't think Garth's going to do that.
I know. I'm just saying. I think look, and Petan could be a top 6 guy in the NHL. He might even be ready now.
Right.
And I'm sure Edmonton, if Edmonton doesn't want to touch the core, they're probably going to want to try to trade. Oh, let me see, Justin Schultz.
There's no chance of that happening.
And you talk about the complete polar opposite of Travis Hamonic, who's solid in his own zone. Justin Schultz makes Jake Gardner look like Rod Langway.
You have to believe too that if Edmonton's unwilling to move an Eberle or someone like that, or a Yakupov or a Nugent Hopkins, that if they want Hamonic, obviously Clefbaum or Nurse would have to be in the conversation, and I can't see Edmonton trading either of them.
And then if you moved to Calgary, what does Calgary need? I mean, I like Hamonic. He's a very good defenseman. What do they need him for? I know somebody floated them trading Dougie Hamilton for Travis Hamonic.
I can't see that. That makes no sense.
Calgary doesn't make any sense.
Here's one that does make sense that was brought up to me. Would a Shattenkirk for Hamonic deal work?
I mean, it would work more for the Islanders. Like St. Louis would ask you to throw something into that deal because Shattenkirk brings a lot of offense.
Right, that's the thing. Because they have similar, Shattenkirk and Pietrangelo and Bouwmeester used to be, but they're kind of similar defensemen. They're all very similar defensemen.
But does that help Hamonic? I mean, to go to St. Louis. I mean, I think that if he's going,
that's another good point. If Hamonic goes to St. Louis, he's not in the same position that he is on the Islanders.
I mean,
Right.
the only difference is instead of the Islanders going to Winnipeg once a year, they're in the same division. They would be going 2 or 3 times a year.
He'd
But
be
it
2
doesn't
hours
sound,
away via plane.
right. It doesn't. It doesn't. It sounds like he needs to be within
It
close
does.
proximity.
It does.
So, I mean,
Right.
player-wise, that deal makes sense because St. Louis has got Parayko as a young defenseman who they seem to be very high on, and with Shattenkirk's contract being up in a couple years, or after next season actually, they might want to trade him now and get somebody who they could have locked up longer term. But I think that looking outside the box of Edmonton, Calgary, and Winnipeg at this point is probably a non-starter. So unless he expands his universe, I think it's going to be one of those 3 teams. But I don't think it's going to be immediately. It sounds like if he's willing to wait till the end of the season, that's probably when.
I mean, Minnesota's not far from Winnipeg at all.
No, it's not.
That was the strange. That was kind of the odd thing to me that name wasn't included because
Agreed.
Wild. I mean, it's only a couple-hour drive.
Right, that's a 30-minute flight probably.
Yeah, it's really quick. But it's interesting when we talk about when a guy has to be traded like this, what do you get in return? Because I have found that the NHL is actually pretty sympathetic to this kind of stuff. Like I have found general managers will go out of their way to not screw somebody in this position. I really have never seen what happened with the Rangers and Tampa was a good example of that. They really didn't have to make that trade. Say they didn't have to give up all that he gave up there. I mean, Callahan was a situation that he wanted to get off of his conscience anyway, I think. So he moved Callahan out of there, and that kind of helped see her out. But he didn't have to do all that he did there. Teams generally, there's a little bit of heart in the NHL still, I think, about situations like this. I wouldn't think that no one's going to, Winnipeg's not going to hold up the Islanders in this. They're going to give them something significant, and I honestly think Winnipeg's where it's going to go. I think that's pretty much as you say. There's a couple teams involved in this. I think really there's one team involved in it. That's the one. Now, whether or not that happened, if that's where he wants to be, and Jets fans will love this kind of thing and the Winnipeg Jets will love this kind of thing because they can't get guys to go there. And
It's true.
here's a guy who really wants to be there. Granted, for situations that might not be the greatest, but he actually does want to be there.
But then what is the deal? I mean, if it's not,
for Winnipeg, I mean, I think Patan could be a part of that deal because again, Patan is a kind of a player I think the Islanders would be interested in. And then
I agree.
Yeah, you probably have to upgrade from Postma or something, but they don't have a lot of proven defensemen. And I don't think they're going to toss Josh Morrissey in.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, Russ, if we're going prospect heavy in this draft or in this trade, and I don't think that's the way the Islanders want to go because the Islanders are on the cusp of competing right now with the team that they have.
I have a better deal. I have a better deal with Calgary. What if you went with like Oliver Shillington and you went with Emile Poirier? Both of them are playing in the AHL right now, and I think Poirier could play in the NHL right now, and I think Shillington is this close. Like he's literally that close. And I think if you let Pulak come up, you let Shillington get a little bit more seasoning, you would be all right, and he'd come up maybe right after the All-Star break.
The weird thing too is this can open up kind of Pandora's box for the Islanders. If they trade Hamonic for a forward, then do they flip Oposo for a defenseman? I don't want to say. I'm going to say it. Does this, depending on the player they get back, does this make Ryan Strome expendable?
It may.
Yeah.
There's a lot of moving parts here now. There are a lot of moving
parts. How about the Islanders having interest in Hellebuyck? I mean, honestly. I know they have their goalie right now in the lock.
They got 5 goalies in their organization right now, and two of them they really like.
No, this is strictly one.
But I swear to you, and it's for the same reason I brought up Kerry Ramo before. I've talked to people. There's liking goalies in organizations, and there's liking goalies in organizations. Like they really do like him, like the goalies they have, the prospects they have, and all that stuff.
With this one, I have a feeling it's one of two directions. It's either replacing Hamonic with a comparable defenseman of comparable age, comparable talent and salary, or a forward that enables them to do what Dan just said, flip Oposo maybe for a defenseman as a stopgap. But they're not in any danger area right now with Halak and Grice as the number 2. I mean, that's not a concern. And like I said, this team right now, with if they're not trading Okposo, they're going for it this year. They're trying to make a statement in Brooklyn, try to win something right now. That's why this thing coming up right now is sort of a dagger in the heart of the Islanders because it sort of stops their momentum a little bit.
The thing that we talked about off air is knowing that this was coming down the pike. The fact that Ryan Pulock and Scott Mayfield had not been getting time at the NHL level makes no sense because Mayfield's a really physical guy and his skating's improved a lot. He definitely could serve a role. He's not going to be Hamannek, but you know what? No. He's pretty good, and Pulock would definitely serve the offensive role. Zidlicki, is he really long term? His next injury is around the corner.
He's the Band-Aid, and if they've known about this is disgusting. Well, there's no reason. So they've known about this before the season. Why aren't you just tradable if you knew what you had with some of your top prospects? Here's the thing that's really driving me nuts about Pulock not playing is it's not like they don't deserve call-ups. They're playing outstanding in Bridgeport, and Bridgeport's one of the best teams in the AHL right now.
Right.
It's mind-blowing.
That is kind of mind-blowing.
That's so Cappy.
This also brings to question another question, which I always debate with people, is how many players in the NHL have asked to be traded that we don't know about? I mean, there are so many. I really do believe.
There's a lot.
I think there's.
Can I just say one thing about Hamannek? He did this the right way. He went to the general manager. He went to it during the off season, and he did it privately. He didn't make it public. If you're going to do something like that, I do commend he did it the right way.
Yeah, he's a stand-up great guy. I mean, there's no question.
I agree.
No, I completely agree. And there's other. I'm telling you, there are probably. I don't know, Wes, over under 30 players in the NHL? One per team, roughly?
Well, I would say that's fair.
Yeah, that are in the spot. That would like to be, I mean, some of them are obvious, like...
There's a lot of OTR stuff that goes on. I mean, when I interviewed Emil Francis, I was actually kind of surprised how much of this OTR stuff goes on that never hits the radar, stuff where players and GMs in passing talk to each other, whether it's at a game or during the summer or at an event, happens all the time.
It's incredible. I mean, I've made a living off of it. That's just best I can, to get stuff out there that in different ways, in cryptic ways sometimes, but just I mean, there is so much being discussed all the time between in this league. It's insane. I mean, and this is really the bottom line with these teams. And when something like this comes out now, it's right. I mean, St. Louis, that came out right before the deadline, but it wasn't news to it was to a lot of people. They knew that was coming down the pike too, right? When he wanted to get traded. So
yeah, it broke though on New York radio. It got out to Boomer Esiason because he's friends with Brad Richards, and I believe they slipped it to him at the time. And I remember him talking about that on the radio.
That noted hockey insider.
Yeah.
But this stretched back. I mean, this stretched back to the Olympics. I mean, the Marty St. Louis stuff went way back. It wasn't.
No, I know, but when there was no action on it, then I think they went that route.
Yeah. No, that is one way of. This is one way of getting action on it. There are because.
Then he won the Lady Bing.
Yeah, but the thing is, Zach, does this help grease the wheels? Does it come in?
No, it absolutely does because. These things, they try to keep these things so quiet, and that literally teams don't know that he's available. Because you almost can't. You can't just put out a memo. You can't just put out a fax to 30 teams saying, hey, this guy's available. So what Garth Snow's been doing is he's been talking to very few people, maybe by this point, and the fact that this sort of came through the agent, which is what happened. But let me finish. The fact that he came through the agent also tells you something. It also tells you that Garth Snow was maybe seeing if this would ride out, seeing if this could play itself out, seeing if over the course of the year maybe he would change his mind, maybe he wasn't dead serious about this, and the fact he wasn't calling players up, he was playing this like he could perhaps change his mind. The agent releasing this does definitely pushes this forward.
The only thing, let me assume this. I assume that Garth Snow has contacted Treliving, Cheveldayoff, and Chiarelli, those three GMs, about a possible deal. The only thing that this coming out opens up is the possibility of a three-way deal, because obviously if there hasn't been a connection with one of those three teams, they can't work out a deal. Maybe there's something that Calgary, Winnipeg, or Edmonton has that another team is interested in, and they can flip Hamannek to them.
I don't think it opens up a three-way deal possibility, really.
When was the last time we saw a three-way trade?
I see what you're saying. I get where you're going with it, but I think what it does, what this is the player saying, guys, I'm really serious about this. You got to start talking to people. I'm sorry, I don't want to do it this way, but you got to start talking to people, and because I'm not going to just forget about this. You know, this is it has to happen. And he's willing to play the whole season. I mean, he's not being a jerk about it.
To his credit, he's not taking a leave of absence or anything like that,
right.
or even a few days off for personal reasons. We see players do that all the time.
All the time. Yeah, this is just him saying you guys aren't talking. You guys, in my opinion, this is him saying you guys aren't working hard enough to make this happen, or you're not.
Yeah, all I'm saying is this: that it getting out there opens up more options in terms of, you know, other teams being interested, like Dan said with, say, St. Louis. But the thing is, if he wants to go to one of those three teams, then he wants to go to one of those.
This is obviously not about going to the Blues or the Kings or anybody else.
He's not picking a team. He's not.
Right. This is otherwise he would stay on the island. This is about, you know, because it's not like the guy dislikes the island. Not like he dislikes playing there. This is a specific personal situation. He's got to be somewhere, and you can respect that. And the NHL. The NHL is going to make this happen. I mean, you'll see when this is not going to go very long. I have a feeling that this will happen pretty quickly now.
Because it happens before the deadline?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I think it happens before the end of the month. I would say by the end of November because right now that it's out too, that's a distraction that the Islanders don't need. I'm sure he didn't. You know, the Islanders aren't happy about it getting out, but at the same time, you can't procrastinate on this stuff. You got to finish this. This is one of these things, and teams all the time think the players are just players. They're whimsical. They're going to change their mind. He's okay, and this is just not going to happen. So,
as you know, Garth does not like operating in a fishbowl.
Right.
No, Garth is from the from the Lou Lamoriello school of general managing. I mean, he's straight up he's as secretive as could be. He hates this. The fact this is out there. I can tell you he's absolutely hating this.
And to me, Dan, that increases the possibility of the Islanders not getting equal value, because when you're out of your comfort zone, you probably tend to do things that you normally wouldn't do. And if that's the case, then I would be a little worried for the Islanders that they don't get what would perceive to be equal value for Hamonic.
Well, I mean, Niederreiter forced their hand, and at the time, Clutterbuck in that draft pick didn't look like the best deal, but Clutterbuck served the need, and he really helped this roster. And then the prospect they got for them, McCammon, is starting at Penn State, and looks like Russ can add to this. Looks like a pretty good, legitimate prospect. So, and Niederreiter hasn't become the 40-goal scorer we thought he might be. He's a nice player. He's a very good player, but that trade didn't kill them a couple of years after.
No.
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, you're not going to get an obvious fair value, but you can get fair value down the line. You know,
I think Patan and a prospect might work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and it's not. I mean, obviously, you are not dealing from a situation of strength. There's no question about that. So you're not going to get the.
But the problem, I think, the problem is if you trade him right now, and it's Patan, who I think you can put right in your lineup, and a prospect. What does that do to your defense right now? How do you fill Hamonic's minutes right now? That's the problem.
Right, and the thing is, then Garth Snow becomes another in a long line of general managers who are looking for a top 4D, along with Kekalainen, along with Mike Johnston, because
he's got two guys down below.
That's
he doesn't have to look at all. He just has to play them.
Right.
I think putting Kulak in your top 4 right away is dangerous, which is why he should have had 20 games already under his belt.
Right, it's dangerous, but it doesn't mean you can't do it for a couple of weeks just to see before you proclaim that you're in need of it.
That's true.
Russ,
that's true. You're right.
Russ, they might be able to piece things together until they get closer to the deadline, and then when teams are shedding off their veteran players like Toronto and a few other teams, then they could go out and trade for a Roman Polak or some rental defenseman. But that doesn't solve the problem down the line. I'm talking about, you're giving up Hamonic, who's 24 years old, 25?
25.
Yeah. So I mean, you're talking about a guy who hasn't even entered his prime yet. You can do a stopgap measure, but you're not talking about what's going to happen the next 5 years. And now the Islanders are going to have to go out and spend big money on defensemen in free agency, or give up a significant asset in a trade to get a defenseman that equals what Hamonic is.
Well, there's a few things that I noticed here. I was looking at the quotes, and Hamonic said the Islanders have treated him like gold, and this is a situation near and dear to his heart. But no quote from Garth Snow, and so that tells me that he is really ticked off about this, and won't comment publicly on it. And so that's not going to really help the situation, but it doesn't mean he's not going to try any harder. But we're also overvaluing Hamonic a bit. I mean, offensive defensemen are where it's at right now.
Right.
Guys with his kind of game, which is why I brought up Oliver Shillington, because he could be the same kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a different level, and you don't get as much on the open market for those guys. Even if they're a veteran, even if they're entrenched in teams, that's why, look, his pay grade is a steal, right? We all know that.
Right.
But at the end of the day, if he had more offense in his game, he would have gotten more money too.
You have to look at what Johnny Boychuk got 2 second-round picks. That was the return. Now, obviously, the Bruins were in dire situation because of the cap.
Right.
At that time, Boychuk, Hamonic, similar players.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
Boychuk had a little bit more offense, though. I think
you never saw that in Boston.
Yeah.
No, you did. He played some power play time there. He did.
Only after everybody was hurt. For a long time, he was a quote-unquote a defensive defenseman, and then once he was given an expanded role, you saw that he could produce more.
Yeah.
He was second power play all the time.
Right.
Boychuk.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, he was, and I think Boychuk was more established too.
Yeah, he was.
And still, even after all that, they got 2 second-round picks. I mean, that's not terrible. I mean, they were in a complete dire situation, like you said. I mean, there was nothing they could do. They could not sign this guy. They could not. So the Islanders still managed to get 2 second-round picks. Now
they could trade them for picks tomorrow. He doesn't want picks.
No, he doesn't. I mean, Leddy,
I know that.
He traded a really good prospect for Leddy and a couple spare parts.
Right.
Right. No, he's looking to win now, of course, and that's definitely the case. But I think you can go short term. I don't think you have to worry about down the line because you do have the defense down. You do have the defenders coming. You do have players coming, and
that's true. That's true. If they think Pulak's a top 4 defenseman, then they can go for a short term 1-2 year stopgap.
But right now, if you end up trading him for say Patan and a prospect with the Jets, it puts the burden so much more on Boychuk and Leddy to carry. And you really don't have a lot after that. Now, granted, I like Pulak. Zidlicki is basically a veteran, placeholder. They're going to have to go out. I mean, I thought they've always had to go out and get one more defenseman before the deadline anyway. Now another, maybe 2 defensemen.
Well, I think Hickey coming back off injury will really help stabilize that bottom pairing. But this puts the circle on one player and one player only that they've wanted to progress. And he hasn't shown a consistency. He's shown it in spurts. This puts all the pressure on Calvin DeHaan.
Well, interesting. I just got a text that Nick Patan has just been sent down to Manitoba.
Yeah.
Well, he hasn't scored lately either, so it's not 100%.
Yeah. No, but I mean, there's a lot.
But I would, look, if I were the Islanders, that's exactly the guy I'd be eyeing because, especially if I'm looking down the road and I'm not 100% on Josh Hosang, well, Nick Patan would fill whatever role I felt like Josh Hosang was going to fill.
I exchanged messages with Peter Tessier yesterday or the day before, and he was saying that Patan was probably going to go down because, they need to play him all the time.
Right.
And he's been
playing fourth line isn't going to help him.
Right. He's been playing fourth line minutes when he's playing with them, so it doesn't do any benefit to him to be in a limited role with the Jets. So that's why they sent him down. I don't think there's anything bad going on with him.
But the Islanders certainly need somebody who can play right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, they do. Well, we're going to follow it closely, and anything.
Okay, I got one more question and this is for Dan, because I know the one guy's become a whipping boy, and I thought you were going to mention him, and that's Brian Straight. Honestly, if you put in Mayfield for Straight now, is that much of a downgrade?
Yeah, I think Mayfield's an upgrade over Straight.
I think so too, and
I don't think Straight's an NHL defenseman. It's on Capuano. That's so Cappy once again.
Yeah.
Because look, a Straight isn't that much faster than Mayfield. Here's the thing. Noel and I have been saying it on all our podcasts. We know what we have with Straight and Zidlicki. We have one who's at the end of his career and he's a limited player. We have one who's probably an AHL defenseman. Let some of these kids come up and play protected minutes. Right. Let's see what they have, because even if they make mistakes, there's some upside there. Whereas when those guys make mistakes, they are what they are.
Right.
No, that's true. That's a very good point. So we'll see. We're going to follow it closely, of course, and we'll update anything we hear for sure. I really wouldn't be surprised if it got done quickly. Usually, when these things come out, they get done pretty quickly. In one way or another. I mean, I guess the caveat to that is you're dealing with Cheveldaev, who has been known to take his time on everything.
No trade-off.
Well, I mean, there might be motivation for Cheveldayoff to do something because the team has struggled the last couple weeks.
Hammond can help them make the playoffs.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right, but the thing is, again, the dynamic of the Jets. You've got the Bufflin situation hanging over their head. They got the Ladd situation hanging over
That
their
makes
head.
it more palatable to get rid of Bufflin if they think Morrissey's ready soon.
Yeah.
Here, I'm just gonna throw a wild thing out here. Would Ryan Strome and Travis Hamonic get them Blake Wheeler?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
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 Or
Yeah, I mean, that team is
Ladd if they
looking
feel
down.
like Ladd's out of there.
I think Ladd is possible too. Yeah, because
but Ladd's the same problem.
That's someone who could play with Tavares right away and probably really excel.
Either one of those guys, if you put him with Tavares, would help a lot because they're both really good at what they do.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, Ladd's the same problem as Bufflin. I mean, he's supposedly asking for Ryan Kessler money, which means what, six, close to $7 million a year. I don't know if Winnipeg is going to pay that.
no, Winnipeg. He's not. He's done in Winnipeg. But
Honestly, I'd rather give Andrew Ladd that money than Kessler or Oposo.
Right. My feeling is if Strome is on the outs, the Islanders may give an Andrew Ladd that money because he is a known winner and plays the kind of game that they like.
I think he'd be a nice piece to go with Tavares too.
Yeah, there sounds like there could be a deal. Let's make it happen. Let's get on the phone. Come on.
All right, I'll call my people. You call Tessier. Let's get it
I
done.
think we got it all together. I think we're all together. I think Garth, I'm hoping you're watching the show right now. You know what to do.
We're all the GMs of the teams here.
Last time I sat next to Garth, he told me never to split aces against a face card. So anyway, that was
That's
a long
correct.
time ago.
That's actually correct.
So yeah, there you go. Let's talk a little bit more about the All-Star format because the officially came out, the NHL, and it really is a brilliant thing. I'm just very rarely is something so receiving such overwhelming praise as this is. I mean, people around the Twitterverse, around the NHL comment threads, everybody seems to be happy about this.
Even Mike is happy or temporarily happy.
Mike, I actually like what you posted earlier today about building it around the Winter Classic, where you have your skills competition and then this on one day, and then the Winter Classic the next day. I kind of like that.
I think that would be awesome.
No, okay, that was sort of half of what I said.
Okay.
No, you got most of it.
Okay, good.
Like I said, I think this is the last best hope for the All-Star game. I think they're thinking outside the box. This has a potential of being exciting, of being interesting.
Well, I think the outdoor All-Star game is the last bastion. I've thought that for like the last 2 or 3 years.
I think that would work,
3-on-3 outdoors. That could be the last
Oh,
one.
that would be great.
Right. Okay. So and maybe that's where it ends up.
Put it in Central Park.
But if this doesn't work, I said, kill the All-Star game. I mean, kill the game. I know, kill the game itself. And then if you're going to have let me finish. If you're going to have an All-Star break like you have every year, have it around the Winter Classic. Have the All-Star the All-Star competition, the speed contest, the shooting contest, everything at the Winter Classic the day before, along with the Old Timers game. Do all that, so you don't do away with the event that you have advertisers and businesses come.
Yeah.
But the game itself, if this doesn't work in terms of generating interest, I mean, I'm not like the only one in the wilderness saying this. I think there are a lot of people out there who are sick and tired of the All-Star game just being a meaningless contest.
Well, no. They're very right. I mean, and I'm not going to live until I see the Old Timers game be turned into a 3-on-3 competition. That's
just cruel.
That's just cool, right? No, but
here's the thing, though. Rogers is the one that holds the cards here, right? They have the big contract. They're the heavy player here. They're going to want some sort of game because that's the only way you could really build big advertising. Yeah. Even just the skills and stuff, you can't get the same kind of advertising for a skills than you can for a game.
Correct.
It's just the way it is. And also they're going to have guys on the bench talking to players. Like, that's what they want. They want that kind of stuff. They're going to still push for that. Even if this doesn't work, they're going to come up with something else. They're not going to kill the All-Star format. Won't happen.
Well, no, this should. Can we all agree this should be called the All-Star Tournament? Because it should be.
They won't do that, though, but it is. But they won't do that.
Yeah, it is what it is. I would agree. I think the skills competition is dead, actually. And that's one thing I do agree with. I think the shootout has killed the skills competition. I mean, I think that we don't.
But I think people still like the skating and the fastest shot. They do. I think they've gotten tired of the sniping with the plates. You know what I would replace that with? A spelling bee. I would like to see. Right? I mean, you're laughing, but how entertaining would that be?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and you have to spell Russian players' names. That's what you have to
Yes.
do.
Whatever you come up with. But at least it would be entertaining. Everybody just laughed when I said it. You got to have some entertainment in there.
No, you're right. I mean, that would definitely be interesting. I mean, why not? I mean,
The word is Kuznetsov.
Right. And maybe you're even asking his, like his teammate. I mean, I just think it would be funny. There'd be a lot of opportunity there for humor. There would.
yeah. No, I
Do like the newlywed game. You take two teammates like Kuznetsov and Ovechkin, Ben and Seguin, Tavares and Halak, and put them down.
Or maybe guys that do room together.
right. Like, what do you eat for dinner? My favorite dinner is.
Right. Fans would love that.
Hold up the card. No, they would. Love that.
What's his name? George. What's his last name?
Costanza?
No. What's the guy? What's the guy on Sportsnet with the long Greek name?
Oh, Strombolopoulos.
Yeah. You can have him host it.
Yeah, no, he should be the one who hosts that kind of thing.
Subban and Price. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that I love the idea of having a Winter Classic weekend where this tournament takes place in the middle of it. I think that is a good thing. I think having if you want to have the skills competition, having the Winter Class, having the All-Star tournament followed by the actual Winter Classic.
But it is getting to the point now, like I said, if this does not work, it's getting to the point now where the only thing that stinks about All-Star weekend is the All-Star game.
Well, no, and then they
that's all
know
I'm
that.
saying.
I mean, this is an obvious admittance that they know that. Okay, this is
Yes.
they're
What
going.
saved the game last year? I interviewed Ryan Johansson, and the one thing we both agreed on and laughed at was the cannon shots. The cannon shots saved that game because I was one of the first people, I think, that really thought about it because I remember saying to myself when we went there, hey, they're going to fire the cannon a few times, and then I really thought to myself, it's going to be like 30 times.
Yeah.
They fired that cannon more than they did at Antietam.
Right.
Yeah, I know. That's true. That's a really good point. A couple things about the thing. I don't like the fact that they're doing it. I don't like the fact that there's
Sorry.
someone at the door.
Is that the wrong sound effect?
No, I just hit the button by accident.
Oh,
Wow, okay. I think my dogs are going nuts now.
I'm like, Russ's dog's not barking. We're okay.
I know, she's asleep. She's good.
My dog barks at every doorbell. It's
Don't
amazing.
worry, Dan. In about 5 minutes, it'll happen.
So yeah, no, I think a couple things. One of the things that struck me funny reading the whole rules of it is how it's going to be just how if it's a tie they're going to solve it with a shootout. That just was I thought just hilarious in itself.
But by the way, one of the things that you mentioned yesterday, I found out that the winner of the skills competition, the conference that wins, is the one that will go first in the matchup.
They actually get the choice of going first or second.
Well, why wouldn't they choose first?
They're going to go first, right?
Of course. So
But
yeah.
I still think it would be so much cooler to have 10 minutes, then a 5-minute break. While they do the ice. It only takes like 5 minutes to do the ice nowadays. It doesn't. They can do the ice really fast.
They can.
10 more minutes of the other team, and then the first teams that play, they get like a whole 15 minutes to think about how they're going to play the next half.
I don't think they want to interrupt the flow. I think
That doesn't interrupt the flow.
If you do it somewhere like you do it like somewhere Central Park, you could have almost both games going on simultaneously.
That would be good too. You're like a 3-ring circus.
Mm-hmm.
And the way New York is right now, while people are watching, they'll get held up.
Yeah, no,
Too soon.
too soon. So I think all this, you have so much to do here. I think that the team that plays, I mean, Russ, you've seen them too. Like these players, when they come off the ice after these, they're spent.
Oh yeah.
I mean, when they do it.
I never saw Dustin Brown so tired. I swear.
Yeah, so now to do 10 minutes, they're going to be spent. I just think that 10 minutes is too long. I think, to do 20 minutes straight. Sorry, 20 minutes straight.
Here's the thing, though. You brought up an aspect that they definitely could use, and I hope that they listen to this. In between, they definitely should be talking to the guys who just won to see what they're thinking about who they want to face.
Right.
I think fans would want to know that, and they should definitely do that. Just, flipping the action quick or in another box, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and what if you allowed trades? Like, they're going to
make a trade.
Now we're getting into the draft here.
They're going to get rid of the draft, right? They're going to get rid of the draft now because
The
they don't.
draft was fun, but they didn't want to see their players drunk, I guess.
Yes.
But maybe What if each team was allowed to make one trade the night before? I don't know. Something that would be fun. There's a way of.
What would the lineups look like right now if we had this next week? What would the lineups look like?
Yeah, that's something we got to go through. We should do that.
The Score did an article on that. I'll pull it up. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a really good question, and who would be favored and all that. You sit there and say the Central, obviously, because the Central Division is so good, but at the same time, when you get down to this, you're not real. It's more. There's a lot of luck involved in this 3-on-3 because really it comes down to a lot of bounces, a lot of goaltending. There's going to be 8 goalies going to the All-Star game.
Right.
They're taking 2 goalies from each division. Goalies. That's the most goalies ever going to All-Star games.
Why don't we just do that today? What are the
goalies?
Who are the 2 goalies per division?
Okay.
Yeah, we could discuss that.
All right, Metro. Want to start with Metro?
Yeah, let's start in the Metro. Who do we think?
I would go with Lundqvist and Schneider.
Yep, me too.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think that's it.
The Atlantic, I would say Price and Bishop.
I would go Price and Mrazek.
Yeah. I think I would too. Yeah, because there hasn't been a really, nothing in Boston's happened really.
Ottawa not really. Buffalo
No,
not
Ottawa
really.
has had some pretty good
Price and Mrazek, I do.
Mrazek could be good.
Or he's been outstanding. Price and Luongo.
Yeah, that's probably better.
That's actually the better one.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about Price and his backup? There's 2 Montreal goalies.
Yeah, Mike Condon's gonna make the All-Star.
But when you think about it, both of those guys have been great.
Yeah. What about the Central? Here's tough. Central's tough.
Central's really tough.
Jake Allen.
Allen and Rene. That to me is that. Those are the 2.
Yeah, I think I can't dispute that.
Allen is just a highlight film this year. He's just.
All right, here I've got TSN's projections, and if we don't like him, we could tell Frank Savali to his face we don't like him because we know him. So.
Oh, I would enjoy that. Let's talk about this. Yeah, because we're going to see Frank in a few hours. All right, so let's
So that's what I'm saying. We could bring it right to him, so it's easy.
All right.
So here are the 6 forwards he had for the Atlantic.
Okay.
Krejci, I don't think anybody's going to argue with that one.
Nope.
He's been a superstar this year. Henrik Zetterberg,
No.
Just started playing a few weeks ago.
I know.
No, that's
the list. I didn't make the list.
No, Zetterberg didn't start the year either.
Right.
No,
Jack Eichel, maybe.
Nah,
Jack
maybe.
Eichel. I love Jack Eichel. I think he's going to be a great player. He's not the best forward on the Sabres. It would be Ryan O'Reilly. He's leading the team in scoring.
Yeah. Stamkos, yes.
Yes.
Pacioretty, yes.
Yes.
Brendan Gallagher, that's an interesting one. I might do that.
It is.
Okay.
I guess. If him or you got to have one Buffalo player, so yeah.
All right, so here are the defensemen. Erik Karlsson, definite.
Mm-hmm.
PK Subban, definite.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And not because you have to have one from every team, but Morgan Riley's a good pick.
I think so. Yeah. 2 guys I think that weren't mentioned there that should get some consideration are Plekanec and Kyle Turris.
Yeah, I think Turris has been really great. I think that's really a
Don't
great
you?
play.
I think you do have to have one from every team.
I don't know about that.
I think you do.
Oh, really?
Well,
That changes things.
Riley would be the only
Riley
one.
would do that if that were the case.
No.
Yeah,
I'm
O'Reilly
almost positive.
deserves it too.
Morgan Riley's been really good. Even Mike can't deny that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost
Why would
positive
I
there's going to
deny
be one player from each team. They said.
Okay.
Right. All right, so then goaltenders, Carey Price and Luongo. We came to that conclusion.
Yeah.
Yep, that gets you everybody in the comp. We actually did. That's actually pretty good because it gets everybody from every team too.
Right. Now here's the Metro, Crosby, Ovechkin. You can't get away from it. Even if you didn't think it was going to happen, it's happening.
Honestly,
I don't think Crosby deserves to be an All-Star.
this might be the year that Malkin and then Crosby gets left back.
Right.
Yeah, there's no way. That is.
They're not leaving
Crosby
Sidney
does not deserve to be on the All-Star team, but how could they do that?
They're not going to do it. That's why I'm saying we can say what you want till you're blue in the face. Those 2 are going to be in this game if they agree to it. Now, one of them may say, "Hey, I'm not going to play," but I'm just saying I can understand why he put him in there. All right, Giroux and Malkin. See, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Nobody's really going to argue that. Tavares. Now, Brandon Saad.
You got to do that because he's the only player you can take from that team, really.
That's right now he really is.
And he is playing very well right now. He's got a lot of
He
goals.
is.
Okay. That's fine. Because I don't remember what kind of year Wenberg's having. I guess it's not good enough. Justin Falk.
It was Carolina.
Well,
Justin Falk, absolutely.
Okay.
He would make it anyhow, I think. John Carlson, Ryan McDonough. I don't think anybody has a problem with those.
I don't know about McDonough.
You don't know about McDonough? He's scoring goals lately, too. I mean, besides everything else.
I think Zuccarello's going to make the All-Star team.
I think he, if you were going to put Crosby and you wanted to take out McDonough and put Zuccarello, I have no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I don't think that they're not going to. The Crosby's got to be there. So yeah.
Right. And I think that's why you got McDonough going there because.
And there's still time for Crosby to pick it up too. There's not.
Right. Lundqvist and Schneider. That's no brainer.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we go Central.
Okay.
Ben and Sagan. That going into it, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Patrick Kane, Jonathan Taves. That's pretty much a dead set too.
Tarasenko.
McKinnon and Tarasenko, because you got to have your Colorado
That's
guy.
not a bad top six, okay? That's like Cal.
That's okay.
That's pretty good.
They would be
That's an insane top six.
They would definitely be the favorite. It wouldn't even matter who's on defense. It makes no difference.
Duncan.
Their defensemen are pretty good too, though.
No, they are. You got Bufflin, Shea Weber, and Roman Yossi. I don't know if I'm putting Weber and Yossi. I don't know.
Klingberg's got to make
He
this
doesn't have a
team.
Minnesota player on his team, though, right? I mean,
I think if I were going to tell Frank, I would have Klingberg also.
Who's the Wild player?
Duncan Keith, Ryan Suter have to make it. My God.
No, the Wild player is Dubnyk. Dubnyk and Pekka Rinne.
No.
Okay with that.
That's asinine. I'm sorry. Come on. Jake Allen's statistics are much better than his.
I think Dubnyk's doing better than Jake Allen. Jake Allen still is up and down. He had his streak, but that would be like putting Brian Boucher back in during the day. And
I think Blake Wheeler's going to make the team too.
I would go with Ryan Suter, honestly. I would go with Ryan Suter off of Minnesota.
Over Yossi, yeah.
Yeah, over you. No, maybe over Weber. I mean, honestly,
over Weber. Okay.
I mean, that's a harsh thing to say, but I mean, although you could sit there, you could argue Weber versus Duncan Keith too. Like you could actually.
Hey, Keith missed a lot of time.
Keith won't be back in time, I don't think.
Right. So
he is back.
Oh, he's back now?
He's back, yeah.
They may not want him to play then.
That's true.
Well, that's the other thing. Our players going to turn this down. I don't think they will as much as they have in the past.
I think Wheeler definitely deserves to be in that team.
No, but coming off an injury, they may
you got
not
to have
want
Bufflin. You got to have a Winnipeg Jets. So that
I would
makes
take
sense.
Wheeler over Bufflin.
Yeah, but you can't replace any of those top six forwards.
Right, Bufflin's got to be in there, so you can't.
That's true.
Based on the fact that we are having someone from every team.
Which stinks, but that's why it comes. You have a young star game again. You get a representative from every play. I don't know.
We know who's making it from Arizona.
Yeah, Max
All
Domi.
right, so we go to the Pacific.
Right.
So
Oliver Ekman-Larsson.
we got Jeff Carter, Taylor Hall. I would say don't ask me to be impartial about Jeff Carter. You guys could argue that one out.
I don't think Jeff
he
Carter
deserves to be there.
Yeah. Taylor Hall, I think, is definite. I think that's a great pick.
Yep.
Joe Pavelski, Johnny Gaudreau.
Yep.
Pavelski's a no-brainer. Gaudreau's having a good year. I think he's about the only guy you can take from there.
Yeah.
Who's the second goal? Quick and who?
Hold on, don't start looking ahead. Corey Perry, Max Domi. I think that's no-brainers.
I do too.
Drew Doughty, Alex Edler, Brent Burns. See, I know Eck is happy.
Well, no, I think Brent Burns deserves to be there.
Yeah.
And San Jose is in what place right now?
At least his beard.
Doesn't matter.
That's good. And then now this is the one I'm not so sure on. He's got Frederick Anderson and Jonathan Quick.
Oh my God.
I can't put Frederick Anderson in.
Anderson's numbers are pretty good though.
I know, but his numbers are always pretty good. But he's still not an all-star.
That's a losing team right now. I mean. Yeah, that's not right.
But who else would you take in that division? No one else has been great.
Mike Smith.
No.
I would actually look at Ryan Miller.
Ryan Miller. Yeah. That's probably who you take.
Ryan Miller is who I would take.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean Miller's been very good. I mean,
What happened to Martin Jones?
Yeah, it's so easy to puff your feathers right now. I know.
Wait, what about Kerry Ramo?
Yeah. He won a big game for them the other night, my friend. It's the only reason they beat them. Powerhouse.
Wait, for the Stockton Heat or for the Calgary Flames?
No, it's the only reason the Flames beat that powerhouse team from the Meadowlands that were in town. Yeah, they beat that.
But Frank did a good job. I think he has most of them. I think we only argued about maybe 4 players.
Yeah, it's tough. It's definitely tough.
I mean, if McDavid wasn't hurt,
If
probably
McDavid
be
wasn't
there.
hurt, he'd be in there.
Well, hey,
He'd
how
be in there
about
over
the way Dreisaitl's playing? He might be there.
You know, you can make the argument that Draisaitl could be there instead of Jeff Carter. I got to look at Jeff Carter.
What about Toffoli?
Yeah, Toffoli's having a great year too.
He's having a very good year.
Carter was, I don't know. Yeah, it is hard to be, but no, I don't. I have a great Carter All-Star story, but I can't share it.
I got a great Carter Carnival. I got a great Carnival story with Carter.
Most Carter stories we can't share.
No,
Well, no, this is not.
Oh, this one I definitely can't share.
Mine's not nefarious or anything like that. It's just one of these things that's just completely.
Here's the funny thing, all right? Here's the funny thing, and this is where, if I had the choice and I take myself away from my Jeff Carter, Toffoli does have the same amount of points, right? But the other night when I was watching the Kings against the Flyers, Toffoli was 10 times better than Jeff Carter.
Yeah, he is. He looks better. I mean, he's a total stud, skilled player. I mean,
Toffoli reminds me a lot of Zach Parise. Not quite the skater.
Yeah, he's got a lot of Parise in him. It's a really good comparison.
He's having a good year too, but
we're going with some big names here, and the NHL is going to want some big names. Toffoli's not yet a big name, and unfortunately, this comes into play.
Yes.
Neither is Jeff. But feeling, do you need more than one king besides Quick? Well, actually, besides Quick and Doughty, do you need another king?
That's the thing. You already got 2 kings.
Yeah.
That's why I think there would be 2 Coyotes. I think there would be Domi and Oliver Ekman-Larsson.
It's possible, yeah.
You could do that. I mean,
no one would argue that. They both deserve to be there.
At some point, see, I always feel like, and I've covered so many All-Star games, like every once in a while you do get your Brian Elliott, right?
Right.
But the thing is, there's generally only like 2 or 3 of those guys in the whole game every year, and everybody else is pretty much who you expect or has a big name or a big contract. It's usually just the way it is. This is a good year where you actually could stray away from that.
Yeah.
If you wanted to sort of build the next generation
You could.
in fans' minds.
You could. That's why you definitely think you take Domi. You could make the argument for taking Eichel.
Right. And that's where I think Eichel in there does make sense, because you do want to sort of build that.
Hey, if the game doesn't mean anything, Mike, then the selection, then you want to build the entertainment value. You take Eichel over O'Reilly.
Yeah, but you do still have to pick the players who are all-stars. I mean, like, you have to pick
it happens in every sport.
We're saying if it's close.
Right. If it's close, yes.
And you have that decision to make, then you look. All-Star game is about marketing. You do have to market it.
Well, he has Weber, Yossi, and Rene, right?
Yeah, Rene was in there. Yep.
Rene and no.
Weber and Yossi.
Are they?
I mean, this is the games in Nashville. Do you remember? So there's.
Are they doing a rookie game?
I have not heard that they are.
No.
I don't think they are.
Yeah, not that I. No, I think. I mean, they've got a lot. This is going to be a.
I think the rookies get a chance in the overall skills competition if they're worthy. That's where they get to break in.
No young guns game and no draft.
Okay. Right.
All right, a couple cards before we get out of here today.
All right.
All right, here we go. We're going to start here with this one today. We have this guy was known more. I think of more of as a Winnipeg Jet, but he was of course in my box. I have the New Jersey Devils version of him. But no, vintage Winnipeg Jets. Did Dale Hawerchuk play for the Devils?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Neuendijk did, but he didn't.
Yeah, Neuendijk did.
This is actually his rookie card. So he started at the Devils.
Paul.
I do not think of him as he's a center.
What years are we talking here?
1990-91. Oh, actually, he was acquired to the. No, this is not his rookie card. Sorry, I hate when they only put 1 year on the back, but that wasn't. That's not his whole.
Right.
Stuff.
Right.
He wasn't.
That's when they got lazy and they decided not to put other years of.
Yeah, right.
Well, they needed more room for Kevin's right.
So hard-nosed center, aggressive forechecking, solid two-way play. He was really known as that for the Winnipeg Jets in the Jets' heyday.
Laurie Boschman?
There we go. Very good.
Wow, that's awesome.
Laurie Boschman as a New Jersey Devil.
Wow, that's awesome.
It's just freakish that you knew that.
Yeah.
Former first-round draft pick of the
Maple Leafs?
Favors? Okay.
There you go. So okay. All right.
That's crazy that you knew that.
I know. I have no life. What can I say?
True story.
You prove it every show.
No. Come on now. All right, this player. This card's got to be worth something. Something very unique about this player.
There's nothing in there that's worth anything.
This is a very unique player. Played for the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Mayon Rayon.
What was that?
Mayon Rayon.
Mayon Rayon.
Very good.
Hey!
Hey, there you go.
It's still worth about 50 cents.
Yes.
Worth nothing.
No, nothing.
The prettiest looking hockey player we've ever seen in the NHL.
Yep. And hope for every you know.
I don't know about that. Wayne Gretzky had good hair back in the day. It's a tough one.
That's a
Tyler
tough one to
Seguin
say.
is a tall drink of water.
Wow. And that disappears from the picture on that one.
Tyler Seguin's leading the tattoo nation. That's what he's doing.
This guy wore number 30 as a goalie for the Philadelphia Flyers,
Ilya Bryzgalov.
along with about 50 other goalies for the Philadelphia Flyers.
Ilya Bryzgalov, who was at Puck Talks yesterday.
Yeah, apparently that was.
I heard he was great.
I heard it was awesome.
I heard it was a
I'm
great
so sorry
evening of
I had to
hockey.
turn down my invite this year, but I will be back.
Here's the thing. You have to like Bryzgalov to think he was awesome, because if you don't, it'll annoy you. Like, it would probably annoy me.
Okay, so what years are we talking here for Flyer goalie?
Bryzgalov yelled at me. All right. We're talking. Played for the Hershey Bears in 89, 90, but came up. Nope.
That's a good guess, though.
Garth Snow.
No. He was number 30, which is Garth Snow. That's true. Other 30s include Rick St. Croix.
Bob Froese, right? Wasn't he?
What years are we talking here?
Bob
Was
Froese
it-
was 35, I believe.
He was at 35.
What year is this card?
89, 90.
Yeah, that's
So
my
you're looking at a time when the Flyers had, I believe, Pele Limerick was gone. Hextall was their top guy at this point. And this guy was, I don't think, he was their backup. Anyway, his name starts with Bruce. I'll give you that much. How about that?
Bruce Gamble? No.
Nope.
Dark
Bruce-
from there.
Bruce Hoffert. Bruce Hoffert.
Oh my
No,
God.
chance. No chance.
Bruce Hoffert. Yep, there you go. All right, not the greatest. I know. All right, one more. We'll do one more here. I'm going to do an Islander just because, it's always
Wait,
fun
what's
to do
the
Islanders.
cup in the background? What is that cup for?
That cup up there, that is my one of my daughter's soccer trophies. That's
nice.
that is called the Hershey
Nice.
Cup that they won last year. As assistant coach of that team, I got to take the Hershey Cup home. So
That's great.
I'm
And
very
you haven't given it back? Is that the thing?
I had a friend who played for the Hershey
No.
Squirts.
I'm keeping it.
No, he played in the Hershey hockey development. He kept his jersey. It's on his wall in his office. Hershey Squirts.
Hershey Squirts.
Is that a failed candy line? I think it was.
Not a good name.
No, it's not a good name.
No, it's just.
Was that in the X-Lax League?
But
Whoa.
he thought it was so. Even then, he thought it was hilarious.
Remember, without the buzz, it's only hockey. I'm sorry. No, we got one more here. I had to go out on this one. Number 53 for the Islanders recently.
Casey Cizikas.
Casey Cizikas, yeah.
There he is,
That's what I
Casey.
thought of, yeah.
Come on, he's worth a lot.
That's a great card, too. That was a goal against the Penguins in the playoffs.
Listen,
Wait a second.
Cizikas, I still have some hope for. So I will say that's actually a card that's worth the most because he still has upside. Nobody else from this set has upside.
I think I just
Wait a
threw it
second.
behind the Tempest machine.
That's like a 60-cent card.
I got the answer first against the guy who's the Islanders blogger.
Nah, but we all were getting it at the same time.
Yeah.
You were just a little bit faster. That's it.
How
Yeah.
about a Hartford Whalers goalie? Come on.
Peter Sidorkovich.
Mike Liu.
Kevin Weeks.
Hell,
Steve Weeks.
Peter Sidorkovich is right.
Wow.
Doesn't make any sense. Yes, there you go. That's a very pensive look. That's like Luke Skywalker.
Jason Mazzotti, Daryl Ray. I can name them all.
By the way,
You know what I feel bad about him for? That's an awful mask. Like
It
that's
is.
that's like a college mask. It's
I
like
have one of those masks.
John Garrett.
Oh,
wow.
it's a good one. John Garrett's a good one.
How about this guy? This is also a Hartford Whaler. Goes by a really famous nickname still in the media. But at this time, it was an Islander.
Ray Ferraro.
There you go. He played
Chicken
for both
Parm.
your teams. Ray.
Chicken Parm.
Ferraro.
I was there. I was there the night Chicken Parm was invented. That nickname.
Really?
Wow.
I was working on the show that night.
Wow, that's crazy.
He got chicken parm from the calf. he spilt it all over his shirt, and he had to wear John Buccigross's shirt, which was like two sizes too small, and so he was on camera, and he couldn't really turn because so that's how the name Chicken Parm came about.
That's awesome.
By the way, we didn't mention, did you see that Anthony Niemi's uniform had the wrong name on it the other day?
I saw that. That was hilarious.
No.
Yes,
What did it have?
spelled his name.
Yeah.
Oh wow. That's this final card is a HockeyBuzz blogger.
Okay. Kerry Frazier.
No, he doesn't blog for us.
Paul Stewart.
Paul Stewart.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
That's right, Paul Stewart. There's a Paul Stewart card. How about that?
That's awesome. Oh.
I know.
To autograph that, it's worth 50 cents.
Yeah, that's something awesome to have in a collection, though.
That is an awesome card to have, especially when he writes.
You're a good guy. I like you. I'm just kidding.
And
There you
if
go.
you leave it unautographed, it's $1.
Hey, I got a Howie Rose autograph. On my wall here, I got a Howie Rose autograph card.
Nice. Nice.
You guys missed yesterday at the end of the whole thing. There was a really great
Trade.
There's a great trade that took
Great
place.
trade took
Can we
place
talk about the
yesterday.
trade? Can we talk about what happened
No,
right
we
after
can't
the
talk
show?
about it?
No, I keep these things private. No,
All right,
okay.
so Russ and Dan made an interesting trade after the show. Well, they'll keep it
Russ is
quiet
the
though
dark
because
soul of HockeyBuzz.
I'll just leak the rumors slowly over time.
It's a C5. It's a card.
Yeah, remember without the buzz, it's only hockey. Get the hell out of here. Have a good night.